gesture drawing we did yesterday, only we're going to be doing a picture of a mime. Sort of like a clown that totally performs in silence. I always enjoyed mimes. They were popular in France back in the 50s and the 40s. All right, here we go. So I started with the head, the neck, and then I'm going to do the shoulders. So the shoulders are going to just be a line here and a line here. Always make sure you get the shoulders in. After the shoulders is upper torso. And I go basically up to what the belt line, where the belt line begins. And there's the torso. And you'll see that on this side, it's going to kind of stretch. See that line on the left side of him in that direction. And then we have a lower torso. And that's from the belt down. And we want to get that. And I draw it just as very light shapes. Maybe I'll draw it a little darker in the case of showing you how to do it, because the camera has to be able to pick up the lines, but you can do this very lightly and it's easy to erase. So upper leg, knee, and his leg's pretty straight, maybe slants a little to the left. So I may just alter that slightly. Remember, you have an eraser. Erasers are wonderful if you think you did something slightly inaccurate. So I'm slanting this leg a little to the left. Knee. Now remember, lower leg is the same length as the upper leg. So you want to pretty much make sure your distance from here to the knee and the bottom of the knee to the ankle is pretty much the same. And then his foot goes forward, so I'm going to just sort of draw it like this. And then the other leg slants. And you want to watch when you do this to try to get that angle as accurately as you can. Remember, it's a gesture drawing, so you're not looking to be perfect right now, just as accurately as you can. And then ankle, and here's where his foot will be. You can see his heel. I'm just going to kind of very lightly outline that. And now his right arm from the top of the shoulder comes down. I want you to watch the angle. And then we have elbow and lower arm, and it's just like the upper leg and lower leg, same distance. Sometimes you could get that wrong. You can always adjust it, but give it a try. I don't draw the detail of the fingers in the beginning, but I just want to show sort of a circular shape for the hand. And then his arm goes straight out like this. It's upper arm. And then his elbow is right here, and his other arm comes out sort of like that. And then wrist, hand. Now, his shirt sort of is very long here, and we'll put that sort of detail in later. But that is what I am looking for. This, what I just did, as I sharpen my pencil, I'll talk to you. What I just did is step one, getting the basic shapes correct. Okay? After step one, we're about to go into step two, which is what I call the detail phase of the drawing. And in the detail phase of the drawing, that's where we do corrections. So I'm going to go and start back up at the head and just start to get the face and sort of the outline of his particular face. And of course I drew the head a little too big. That's okay. This is the phase where you fix it. And I'll show you something. We're going to work on faces later on. But right now, I draw a line where the nose is, from top to bottom. I draw a line where the eyes are. And actually, I got that wrong. So I'm going to correct it. The eyes are typically in the center from the top of the head. Let's say that's maybe the top of his head and that's the chin. Eyes are right in the center. So I'm going to draw a line where the eyes are going to go. Details will be put in later. And a line where the mouth is. And we'll fix that further on. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is continue the neckline and start to get some better detail going. So, and this is where you fix things. This is where mistakes are made. So maybe I made his elbow a little too long. Here's where I fix it. So right here, his elbow's going to come up, come down, and I was close. Here's where I'll start to draw the hand and the detail. I may take the eraser and just lighten up some of my former lines so I can see more clearly exactly what I'm doing. And then he has a glove on. And I'm not looking at this point to get the fingers precise, but I'll certainly be in the neighborhood. Remember, as you're drawing, it's a learning process. So you're not looking to get everything perfect immediately. It's a process. It takes time, but you have an eraser and you can always correct things quite easily. So I'm going to just darken that line a little bit. And then I'm going to go over to the shoulder, which starts just slightly higher than the shoulder on the right, on the left side, I'm sorry. And I'm going to start to work on this sleeve here. Let's see, it starts here, comes up like that. This comes down, slightly rounded. And by the way, if you hear any noises, I have a dog who loves to hang out in my art room with me. So you may hear my dog Finn from time to time. Bring down the arm. This is the elbow right here. That's a really long sleeve, so I think I'm going to take it down just a little more. And then here's the lower arm. I'm going to erase some of the original marks I had because I no longer need them. The arm gets slightly thinner, showing where the wrist begins. And then he has another glove on, his left hand. And then I'm going to put the fingers in, but I'm not looking to be super accurate right now. We'll play with that some more later. Continue to do that. Okay, and on both hands, you really can't see the thumb. I'm going to make that finger slightly longer. The thumb's kind of behind. And now that I've got the basics of that on, I'm going to work with the shirt here. So over here, he has a sleeve that comes down and you can see sort of the inside of it. I might have made it slightly larger than in the picture, but we're in the neighborhood of this being pretty correct. I might shrink that just a little. There we go. Drawing is all about practice. It really is. It's just about doing it a lot. The more you do it, the better you get. There's no fear around it. I think you just have to, jump in and give it your best shot. There's something called coordinating your hand, your eye, and your brain. And that just takes practice. That just takes drawing experience. So I'm going to continue down here with his pants. Actually, I'm going to jump over to the other leg because this leg goes over. That leg. Okay, and then coming back up to his knee, and then back up to his upper leg. And there's a little bit of a wrinkle right past the hand. Now I'll go back to this leg. There's the knee. Even though he's wearing pants, I want to show that there's shape to it where the knee begins. And then we'll take this down to the foot. And now I may have made the foot a little too wide, so we're going to play with that a little. And it was a little too long. I'm going to show some dimensionality in my detail with the foot. And here's the shoe. Okay, and we're getting close here. I want to jump back up at the head and show where his ear is. That's important. And I also think the hat, which is certainly a very important thing in the way mimes looked. So I think the hat begins right around here. There's a curve. And then back up and back around. Now, I'll draw basically the eyes. Like I said, I'm going to do a lesson on just doing faces, but you want to get both eyes on that line, the same distance apart, and then the nose. And then he has a bit of a smile. So I'm not doing major detail right now. I'm just getting the basics in. So that's step one. Step one is putting all your basics down, getting it as accurately as you can. And then step two is going to be adding way more detail.